Hey, what's up? Mark Tilley here. Another on-the-spot video coming to you from my car right now. We just pulled up at AEO Motorsports. We're working with REP and getting some suspension done for our 200-hour KTM 300 bike. So let's show you what this process is and meet the crew. So we have our case with the suspension in it. Highly recommend doing this. Oh, forks and everything, and here we go. So here we are, REP AEO/AEO suspension, Chelsea.
Hello.
And Chelsea is the one that greets you that when you walk in and find out what's going on. Again, we're here to get our 300 suspension done for our KTM 300 that had almost 200 hours on it. What do we do next? We got the stuff here.
I will take care of this, and then typically you did not have an appointment, so we'll go ahead and book.
We never have an appointment for anything.
We still take care of you, but I'll show you how to book an appointment if you ever want to, and also there's a rider sheet that we'll need filled out as well.
Okay, perfect. So you're gonna make this easy for us, right? Because we're not the smartest.
If you can't do it, I will book the appointment, no problem.
Perfect. We like that.
You do have to fill out the rider sheet because I do not know your info, but
okay.
I can even email it over to you, make it really easy. But you'll go on repsuspension.com and I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you what it looks like. So it looks like this. If you want to book an appointment, you'll go here. It will show you all of our availability. You can do a reval. If you've been here before, you can do a service update. Service updates, we would do a service and then just charge a service fee, but we can update the setting as well. Or just a simple service. So you'll click one. You're getting a reval. This will show you our first available appointment, which is the 16th, and then you just select a time. That just holds a slot for you. It's not really the suspension bring at 12 o'clock. You can bring it anytime that day and we'll take care of it. Then you just fill out your name, email, and it lets you know to fill out our questionnaire. You'll just agree and then book, and it will come to us. Then from there, the rider sheet will just need filled out before we get the suspension. So it's about 30 questions, pretty invasive, but it gets to the point to where all the info we need and really gets you dialed in. If there's anything that's unclear on the rider sheet, we reach out and clarify, but usually it's pretty straightforward.
And now if they have any questions at any point in time through this, they can just contact you?
Yep, contact me. You can call the shop, or you can email me, Chelsea at repsuspension.com. I'm always available on email anytime.
And your guys' physical location, you have the one physical location at the AEO Motorsports
inside AEO Motorsports.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there is some people will come up and ask questions about REP. Is it not AEO Motorsports? All that kind of stuff. And long story short, what's the situation?
So we're partners with AEO.
Okay.
Jeremy Sism and Mark Johnson joined forces to make REP suspension.
Okay.
A good force, and it's nice to be inside AEO Motorsports, and you can come get a bike, get your suspension done. Some people don't even ride it. They just bring the suspension off the floor.
Okay, and then it's a thing to where, so REP and AEO are together, and because we wanted to confuse everybody and make it AEO Motorsports and do all kind of research, engineering, whatever. So
we like to
basically,
confuse people,
So but basically you guys are
REP suspension.
REP suspension. So
Yep.
all right, well then I guess that's how we start.
Yep.
And then let's go tear this thing apart.
Yeah, let's show you the process. So this is all our incoming rack. So once it comes in, it goes straight to here. Tear down happens over here.
Oh, this is where all the dirty stuff happens.
Yes, so I stay out of that.
Mark's in where it's all clean, and then this is where all the dirty stuff happens.
So right now they're tearing down a set.
Building, putting tubes together.
Okay.
Over here they wash, get it all clean because, you know, the suspension is dirty. See all the pieces?
She says that this is the dirty area, but that's cleaner than any of the shops that I work in. So it's definitely kind of cool to see that this is, it's still a clean area compared to most people's garages. So, all right, let's keep going. So is this suspension dyno stuff? And,
Yep,
oh, okay.
dyno. This is where we do the dyno work. This is where Mark will sit down, write the setting once the rider sheet is filled out, once everything is clear. Then we'll get, once he has the setting, we have it torn down, I'll get an estimate built of all parts needed. There will be optional parts on there that we can offer, and they're all optional, but you know, some people want upgraded items, so we offer it, but it's never a must.
Well, and I've when I went through the rider thing and did that kind of stuff, I know that there is some things in there that they go, well, just do cone valve and a track shock and stuff like that for KTM. So that's kind of cool. Like you're an authorized service center for WP, and you have that kind of stuff. I mean, you're right down the road from them.
And not only, I mean, we are a WP center, but we do KYB, Showa.
So you guys do everything?
We do everything, yep.
Okay. So. Sounds good. So after you make the phone call and make sure everything is authorized and everything like that, then we go into building.
So this is a little cleaner, but I mean, there's oil involved, but clean oil.
Yeah,
so.
she's modest about this. This place is immaculate.
But yeah, they just build.
So then Mark's over here doing other stuff right now, doing shocks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
forks too.
Yeah. So those look like, that looks like a mini set.
85%.
So okay. So you guys, like you said, you work on everything.
Yeah.
It's not just KTM. It's not just, you know, the WP stuff. You guys work on everything from 50cc bikes all the way up to dual sport adventure stuff. Do you guys do adventure stuff?
Street bikes.
Yep. Cobras, National Shocks, Olin's, Showa, KYB. Pretty much nothing we haven't worked on.
Now, how long have you guys been doing this? How long have you been doing suspension?
I've been doing suspension for 17 years. And then we started this 5.5 years ago. And then Chelsea came on board, 2.5 years ago now?
2.5 years ago.
Okay. So a team that's working so far. You're still together, and he doesn't have too many bruises.
Married,
yeah, he still doesn't have too many bruises on him, so it must be working out pretty good.
He had some good, yeah. And then when we're done with the suspension, it goes over to this rack. And you see that usually this isn't full because people really want to come ride.
Pick their stuff up as soon as possible.
So we like to get this out and the bike's running again. So, but we also do ship in, ship out.
Okay.
I'm the one that packs it up, sends it back out, make sure it gets back to, gosh, we ship out of the country sometimes. So wherever it needs to go.
Perfect. All right, well, let's see him putting together some stuff and we'll go from there. So they're putting our stuff back together now. This is the shock kind of set up and how they have it set up before it goes back together. This bike did have a bunch of hours on it. So we went almost 200 hours before doing anything to it. So we're gonna walk over here to the fork. So because this bike had a lot of time on it, what did you guys find out inside there when you took it apart?
Essentially, with this fork, there's kind of just a lack of control in it from the get-go. So what ended up happening was this little tiny spring retainer ended up coming apart, and little bits and pieces of it ended up stuck in between the piston and the valving. So now once that happens, the little bit of control that this fork has kind of in stock trim, you're left without. So that's kind of the biggest thing that we wanted to point out with doing this kind of video, is just if you're going to be putting some time on your stuff and riding it hard, get it serviced.
So now that's just one thing that you guys found. I'm sure that there's a bunch of other things that you found in there. I'm sure that the oil was completely wasted. There will be pictures of that on you can see those. So yeah, so that's just one thing. How often do you guys recommend doing a service?
On off-road stuff, if you're racing off-road and you're riding it in conditions where you're silty, sandy, or running through water, stuff like that, you want to get stuff in here at least 20-25 hours. Like, that's what we tell our GNCC guys. And we've seen stuff come back in here that's packed full of mud, in the dust seals, packed full of mud in the seal head. Like, it can get pretty hammered in there if you're not on top of it.
And so this is how they kind of set it up. They have everything set up for what they're going to be doing. right
Yeah.
before it goes back together, correct?
Yep, with this fork kind of being an independent function from left to right, before building, I like to make sure everything's actually here, just to make sure if anyone has been in the fork, like I'm not left without anything. That way I don't have any hiccups when I get to the build process. So just a little peace of mind thing, and it's also just a little sanity check before you get to the build.
So with this this setup that we're doing, we didn't want to go crazy with any major cone valve stuff or anything like that. We just kind of used as many stocks, you know, retain some of the stock usage. Naturally, what he was saying earlier on stuff, we had to get brand new parts. But so what are we doing with this particular?
So there's a couple different options that you can do with the Explorer fork. Like you said, we're going to keep this one pretty standard. There's, I mean, kits that convert this thing back to, you can obviously get the cone or the cartridge kit in these things. You could go back to an open cartridge kit that has rebound compression on the top, but like you said, we're just going to keep this thing pretty standard for the most part. That being said, we wanted to try and at least retain some of the springs, some of the stock components that come with this stuff. Now we are pretty particular with our springs, so we did invest pretty heavily into a spring raider. That way we can get all of our springs in line with kind of what we're trying to do as far as springing everyone consistently.
So now this is the stock stuff that we're going to be using, and you guys put it in here, rate it, make sure that it is actually,
correct.
There isn't anything weird going on with the spring or something like that.
Correct. If there's obviously any kind of failure, it's going to be pretty apparent in the spring, but this will tell us exactly how the thing, its character, its true force of it. So that's kind of what this machine's for. So it can do fork springs, shock springs. We can do anything from cone springs to, I mean, pressure springs. Like this thing can kind of do any spring that we've got in here. So these things spend their whole life kind of getting bent one way, right? So with a general service, we try to make sure that every shim gets flipped after obviously inspecting every shim, just to make sure there's no obvious wear to it. But flipping your shims can definitely be overlooked. And I kind of think that's where all your damping force is coming from, right? So if you can get a little bit more life out of that, that's obviously for the better. Overlook your Loctite eye there. You know, to me these shocks are pretty cool because most every shock out there it's always speed sensitive. This thing's got a little bit more to it. Once you get deeper into it, this guy kind of acts as a little bit more of a position sensitive deal. So
Yeah, because this is the PDS type shock.
Exactly. So you can get a little wild with this deck here and do some cool things with it, I think.
Yeah, the shock works as the linkage and everything. So.
Yeah, whenever you have a chance, like, say it earlier, the better. That way at least we can get it on the early without but I'll still make the appointment. The price? So for service, it's $300 plus the parts.
I guess we can let this one get out there. I haven't seen anyone do this. This is kind of my little secret. Grease on the backside of the piston band. This is another small area that you can kind of do a lot with if you know what you're doing. Yeah, this guy here. You always want to make sure that guy functions, otherwise you might blow a shock up. I've seen that guy get pinched or get stuck with Loctite. Same thing up here. Flip everything and get a little bit more life out of it. I like to feel the start of the thread. Find the bleed hole on this guy because it always wants to squirt me when I put the piston in. Might be a little bit over full here. You know, as much as I like suspension, I really hate getting oil on my hands. There's one thing I can't stand. Clip in. I always like to double check. Now we got this thing all the way open, you can put it on the shock pump.
It's either that or you go full KTM type, which would be to run KTM type.
Okay, we're done. Time to go ride. See you guys later.
Yeah.
See you later.